Hello, this is Dragon Tank 1400, and this is All Grown Up, Season 3, Episode 2 review. The name of the episode is Blind Man's Bluff. So what we have going on in this episode is Susy is singing at Splash Mountain, and she invited her friends Tommy, Dill, Chucky, Kimi, Phil, and Lil to it, and kind of reserved seats. We see at the beginning that Angelica gets in Susy's head about saying the only reason they want to go is for Splash Mountain. And I will give Angelica credit. She actually did say that that's the only kind of reason she wanted to go, even though at the end she actually ends up showing up. And that kind of supports the whole sisterly rivalry between Susy and Angelica. It was really good to see that whole bond between Susy and Angelica, but that whole tension too. It's always a pleasure to see that, even in episodes not focused on. Now, what we have here, the main plot is Tommy and Dill can't go because they have to pick up their grandpa who's having some kind of eye surgery, so he can't really see. But instead, Dill has the bright idea of going to Splash Mountain. Tommy was kind of against it at first, but he decides to go anyway. So what ends up happening is, like, right away they lose Grandpa Boris. Like, he thinks he's at the senior center. He's thinking he's seeing one of his, well, not friends, but someone who owes him money. So he's kind of tracking him down, and it's really comical to see, even though the odds of all the stuff that was happening and him not getting hurt is extremely thin. But it's always good to see like that kind of comedy. Like, rocks are falling behind him, he's not knowing what's going on. At one point he steps on someone who's on a raft in the pool. He stands there, the raft goes to the other side, he steps off of him. I don't know, the whole scene was just really funny. Now, a side plot that's going on is that Chucky's kind of scared to go on Splash Mountain. It's a very minor side plot. He ends up going on and he really loves it. Now, after a while, Tommy and Dill have the idea to get Kimi, Chucky, Phil, and Lil to help them search for Grandpa Boris. Kimi immediately takes charge because Tommy is kind of having a meltdown. He's usually the leader, which is always good because I always thought that Kimi was like kind of like a secondary leader in that group. Tommy was the main one, and then Kimi was a secondary. So it was good to see Kimi have that like role. And I think this is the only episode, well, one of the only episodes we get to see her in that leadership role, even though it was like a minor part. Also, dealing with Kimi, I did like how she had her hair down. I just thought that was a good character design, even though they went back to the pigtails like later on in the episode. It was just good to see like different characters look different. They always wearing different clothes and their hairstyle changes just a little bit, but like from Kimi having pigtails to Kimi having her hair down, that's just like a completely different look for her. So it's always good to see like a different look of a character. It just gives more variety to that character. Now, as for Tommy's character, he kind of like had a meltdown, to be honest, and Dill kind of described it. He just yelled at Dill. I don't know, I think it was like kind of fitting for Tommy's character. I mean, usually he steps up and he like accomplishes something. It's kind of good to see him have like kind of a character fall almost, that he just got way too stressed out to really step up and take charge. Even though at the end he was actually the one to see his Grandpa Boris in the security camera, because they got caught for like stealing a walkie-talkie, and they were all like in the security office. He's the one who's like, "There's my Grandpa Boris," and then the security officers at the park go and try to get him, and they chase him down. That's kind of funny. At this time, Grandpa Boris can actually see, and he's actually like having fun. He's doing all this stuff. I honestly don't know how an old guy could keep up with that pace and not be tired, because he was out running a security officer, even though the security officer probably wasn't in the best shape. Grandpa Boris is still an old man, so I don't know how he could keep up with that. Maybe it was just a huge adrenaline rush, but we didn't get to see him kind of like crash afterwards. So who knows? It was just really funny to see that. and it was good to see that Susie like understood like her friends. Angelica kind of got in her head, and she kind of started doubting. So it's kind of good to see Susie's kind of fault in regards to that she wasn't as confident as people led her to believe. It is a character fault on her regard that she wasn't as confident, that once her friends didn't show up, that she kind of lost her confidence and got sad, which is really understandable. But it's also good to see a character that's as perfect as Susie kind of struggle with things a little bit, even though it was just Angelica getting in her head and everything. And in the end, they did show up. Even Angelica, like I said before, even Angelica showed up. So that shows that Angelica really does regard Susie as a friend. And Angelica didn't even go to Splash Mountain. She just showed up to it to give Susie support, even though she didn't say anything at the end there. Like, what her actions spoke louder than her words. Now, as for the moral, from a Christian standpoint, there's not much moral here. There's not much to grasp at, except for that, there are times that you just need to have fun. And I think the Bible supports that there are times that you work hard, but there's also times that you relax, so you have fun. I mean, God has given us the day of rest for a reason. So that was good. Now for the rating of the episode, I think I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. No. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. There's not really anything wrong I see with the episode. It supported like a lot of different characters. A lot of characters got some growth. I thought it was just a great episode overall, and it was really funny. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. See you guys in the next one. Bye.